Good morning, Year 5, and welcome to your English lesson for today. To help you to write your own myth, we're going to create a toolkit today for your writing and to plan your myth. So what do you need for today? You would need to have your brain that's awake, hopefully by now. You will need to have a book to write in and a few sheets of lined paper. You also need to get a pen and pencil. If you don't have those with you now, pause the video and go and get all the equipment that you need ready for the day. Press play when you come back. To warm up our sleepy brains, we are going to do a little word search from some of our Year 5 words. I would like you to write the words down on a sheet of paper as you find them, as you don't have the word search in front of you. You'll have 1 minute to do that. Time it on your mobile or on your iPad, or even if you just count to 60 while you write them down, you can do that. There are the words, and you may be ready to go. Pause the video for 1 minute. And these were the words you were looking for. I just want to spend a couple of minutes on discussing what a myth is, just to refresh your memories and to make sure that everything that you learned last week has not gone lost. If I ask you for a definition of a myth, you will come up with quite a few ideas. Have a little think. This picture might help you. Now, if you were in class, you might have shouted out a few names of myths that you do know or characters from a myth. But you're quite right. But that picture gives us a clue. Those are stories from ancient Greece. There are often gods and goddesses involved. They are the main characters or a character in your myth. And that's also a definition of a myth. Another definition could be what happens in a myth. It could also be an explanation of the world or some kind of religion in the world. And it often involves a god or a character explaining the world to us. Myths can also explain the universe and how the universe came to be. Myths tells us about journeys people are taking, quests they are trying to achieve, and they might also be from ancient Rome. We also read some Norse myths, and there are myths from all over the world. Aboriginal myths is your project you're working on. If you have any other idea of definition, please write them down on your sheet now. Let's think about the key features of a myth. What I would like you to do is write down any feature of a myth that you know from last week. Write them down on your sheet, please. These might be what you have listed. If you haven't got any of these on your list, please feel free to add them to your list. What kind of language are we going to use in our myths today? So I would like you to include a relative clause. You can use our noun, which, who, whom sentence. You can use a simile, where you're comparing things using the words like and as. You can use a metaphor, which is really good because you're comparing things to animals, people to animals, things or places. Personification is a fantastic language feature to use because you are giving human qualities to an object, possibly your mythical creature, or to an idea. You're going to use lots of adjectives to describe your characters, your mythical creature, and your setting. And the sentence type I would like you to practice in your myth and write in your myth is your emotion, comma, sentence. Now, you've practiced these with Mr. Burke before, and I'm sure that with Miss Gordon and with Miss Vidic, you've done that as well. Terrified is how the person is feeling, and the verb here tells us how the person is feeling. It must reflect the feeling of the emotion of the person. Right, your turn to work a little bit. So we're going to practice. I'm going to put an image up, and I would like you to pause the video after the explanation and write down as many of these as you can about the picture I'm going to show you. Write them down in Unita's handwriting because this is a sheet you will upload to J2Launch by the end of the day. Are you ready? This is your image. And I'm going to give you about between 5 to 10 minutes to get that done. Pause the video now and start writing. Welcome back. To write a successful myth, we should include these in our writing. We should have characters. And the character is usually a god with supernatural powers. They might be a hero or a villain that is in a battle with good versus evil. There will be villains, and the villains could be different creatures. Think of your mythical creature you've created. There's definitely going to be a setting. That setting is often a magical place with lots of description to describe the setting. You are creating a vivid image in your reader's mind of what your setting will be. There will be a journey. How's your character going to travel? Think about where they're going. What object might they have? Can you remember whose object this was? That's right, that was Pandora's magical box. There's definitely a problem on the way that the villain or the hero might encounter. And then there's a resolution to your problem. And the most important thing is what lesson would your, I apologize for that, it's in the middle of the screen there, is the lesson that your character might learn. Put that out of the way, there we go. And how will that lesson make their lives better? Okay, the next thing we're going to do, we're going to do a little thought shower. And I've used a cloud. You might not have a name for your myth yet, but that's okay. You can always think of that later once you have your character's name, the object, or the place that they might be going to. So I am going to add ideas under my character. Pause the video after each cloud that comes up. Write your ideas down and then continue with the video as you need to. Write my mythical creature. Pause the video if you need to write ideas about it. My setting. What's my setting like? Write your ideas down, please. What journey will your characters take? Write your ideas down, please. What object might they discover, or what object might they want to find? Describe that object, please. There's always a problem. Always a problem between the creatures, the characters, the object, and possibly even happen on the journey. Then there's a resolution. How did the problem get solved? And the most important thing, what lesson was learned? Now, if you did not get a chance to finish all of this, pause the video once again and complete these. If you did not draw clouds, that's fine. You can just write the words down like we would do in class. To add a bit more detail and structure to our thoughts, we can't just jump in and write. We need to make sure our thoughts are in order and we know exactly how a story is going to develop. You can draw a story map, story mountain, or a boxing up sheet. You can draw these on your sheet of paper now by pausing the video and draw out what you want to use. So when you come to plan your myth, I would like you to think about these questions. Once again, pause the video, read for the questions, and then complete your story plan. You could use a story map, you can use a mountain, or you can use a boxing up. Now remember, you're going to add a little bit more detail there, but this is not your complete story. These are ideas and thoughts about how your story might develop. I will put one sheet on J2Launch to help you if you so need to, but all of this should really be written down on your sheet of paper now. So pause the video, give yourself between 10 and 20 minutes to write out your plan. Excellent, you're back. I'm really looking forward to look at those plans. Now, just to help you along a little bit, Here's a few vocabulary words that we usually associate with a myth. Are there any words there that you're not quite sure of? I can see two already that I'm not familiar with, so I need to go and look up the definition for them so that I know when I use them in my myth what they mean. But on your sheet of paper, another sheet of paper, I would like to start a vocabulary list. You can write these words down, the ones that you want to use, obviously not all of them, and then you're going to add to them as we go along, and you have more ideas of which words, which vocabulary you want to use in your word list. Now, it should not just be adjectives, it could be adverbs and other types of words, powerful verbs that you want to use in your myth to describe how your characters will react and how they are being described to your reader. So the words that I was not sure about was deity. So a deity from ancient Greece is a sentence the words came in, and it's a god or a goddess. Immortal, that definitely means living forever, never dying, it's eternal. And nymph, now a nymph is a mythical spirit of nature, and they often shown her as a beautiful young woman, a maiden, living in rivers, forests, or woods. So these are just 3 words that I did not know the meaning of. There might be some more you can look up. I would also like you to add to this vocabulary list any other words you are going to use. At the end of today, when you've done all your work, what should you upload to J2E? The warm-up activity answers, so your word search answers, how many words you found, the features of them if you remembered, the sentences, there are similes, metaphors, that activity, please upload that. Your thought clouds, your myth planning, and your vocabulary list. I'm really looking forward to see this work today, and I really hope this video helped you to structure your plan a little bit. Remember, you can go back as many times as you like. You can pause the video at any time and listen and read as much as you need. Please make sure you upload your work today, and we will be able to have a look at it so that you can start to write your opening tomorrow. I hope you've enjoyed the day, Year 5. I'll see you later.